All right, so marketing attribution, choosing an appropriate attribution window. On average, customers click through 5.5 marketing links before converting, making it necessary to deliver multiple marketing campaigns. Effective marketing requires that customers receive multiple marketing campaigns. However, the standard method of attribution that is used in online marketing is to attribute the entire value of the conversion to the last click. Two of the many reasons for this standard include the tracking requirements for paid performance marketing vendors and the limitations of traditional web analytics solutions. This is a valid and highly important method of attribution, but the reliance on a single method can result in the misallocation of marketing budgets. What marketers need is a comprehensive and holistic view of the value of their marketing programs across clicks. So let's dive into an example of marketing attribution. A session has activities such as page views, sessions, and conversions, and a source. For example, direct load, paid search, email, display ads, referring sites, or natural search. And it has an attribution window. Activity can be attributed to a source. This is same session attribution. In this example, direct load gets credit for the $30 conversion. The attribution window has sources from other sessions by the same visitor, and this window is 7 days long. Sources that lie outside of the attribution window are excluded. So let's talk more about these three parameters in detail. Parameters for evaluating marketing effectiveness typically relate to these three parameters: sequence, latency, and credit. Sequence relates to the order of clicks in the customer experience. There are three key ways to use sequence to look at marketing campaigns. How many times was this link the first click? This tells you if the marketing campaign is the starting point in the customer's purchase cycle. The other two types of sequence are last click and average click. We're going to go into examples of each. As I mentioned, first click attributes the activity to the first attributable source. In this example, we're looking at a 7-day attribution window, and paid search gets the credit when using a first click attribution. How many times was this click the last click in the customer experience prior to conversion? This tells you if the marketing campaign was the trigger for the sale. Most search marketing campaigns have three types of keywords: general terms that describe the concepts or categories that might be associated with your brand, product terms that are more specific to your brand that describe particular items or products that you have on your site, and brand terms that are frequently the most specific. These use the actual name of your brand or the name of branded items that you market. If you look at where each of these fall in the customer experience, general terms are likely to be first clicks. Product terms are likely to be middle clicks, and branded terms are likely to be last clicks. The concept is that as the customer searches, they refine their search from general terms to more specific product terms and then buy based on your brand terms. The last attribution window when it comes to sequence to consider is average. And average is the idea is it's going to divide that conversion among all attributed sources. So in this example, you'll see that paid search and referring site split that the $30 amount, they split it and each get credit for $15 each. The next key parameter when you think about attribution is latency. Latency can be applied in several ways to marketing campaigns, depending on the context. Latency refers to the time between the customer clicks and when they actually convert. For example, if you're measuring with a 7-day latency, you're looking at purchases that happen within 7 days of the click. To understand how latency applies to your business, ask yourself how your latency window might vary by acquisition channel. You might think of search as an acquisition channel, for example, and will want to apply a longer latency window. Alternatively, shopping comparison sites might be a transactional channel for you and implying that they would have a shorter cycle. Latency is especially relevant when discussing how much time a customer requires to consider purchasing a product. For example, take an electronics retailer. An item that might have a long consideration time period might be a computer, which might take weeks for a customer to research and then purchase. However, a personal electronic device like a tablet might have a price point where customers do less shopping before they buy. For such an item, a 7-day consideration or latency window would be appropriate. And then finally, there's items that might be considered an impulse buy, such as an MP3 or a DVD. And these might have an even shorter consideration time, such as same session or 1 day. The third parameter is credit. Understanding credit requires an understanding of your overall marketing goals. The concept of how you credit your marketing campaigns ultimately relates to your frame of reference. When you're looking at a particular time period, you can look at conversion as your frame of reference. To do this, take all of the sessions that occur and then apply the credit for those sessions back to the marketing campaigns that influence the session. This is called backwards attribution because you're looking backwards from the point of conversion. Backwards attribution becomes extremely useful when you're trying to get a true accounting of sources of revenue for your site. This can be especially important for auditing vendor performance and reporting on campaign results. The other way to look at credit, an alternative way, is you can look at all marketing campaigns that occurred during a specific time period and ask what activity followed the click. This method of applying credit is called forward attribution. Forward attribution is more intuitive for many marketers to grasp because it's measuring the follow-along revenue that is associated with the click. The challenge is because the follow-on conversion might occur in the future, so the ability to report on forward attribution in a timely manner is often limited. As a result, forward attribution provides a better picture of the value than backward attribution, but it might not be appropriate for daily decision-making. However, when trying to allocate spend appropriately over longer periods of time, it might make sense to think about how much follow-along revenue a click is generating. Each type of attribution window is designed to answer, Each type of attribution is designed to answer a different question and show information from a different perspective. So for sequence, use this parameter to determine which touches in the sales cycle you want to credit with value. First click is useful to understand where you acquire new customers. Last click is useful to understand where marketing programs act as triggers. An average click is useful to understand the value of any marketing touch between the first and the last. In regards to latency, this parameter selects the time period for which you want to evaluate data, and you can select longer periods of time if you have products or services that have longer sales cycles. And finally, credit. This parameter chooses to look at where sales come from or to look at the value of your marketing campaign. Forward attribution, this type of logic is valuable in forecasting and budgeting your optimal marketing mix, and backward attribution is you're going to want to use this logic, and it's valuable in understanding which marketing partners to credit for a sale or conversion. And thank you for your time. And that's the end.